Hi, my name is Samantha Carlo, and I'm here to talk to you about a feat that I've faced my whole entire life. Quite literally. I'm talking about my shoe size and how small my feet are. A lot of people don't even realize that having small feet is such a big issue, but in fact, it's come into play every day in my life, and I'd like to explain how. I have the honor of saying I am an 18-year-old college student, and I have the same size shoes as my 8-year-old third grade brother. Let me start at the beginning of my small feet journey. When I was in elementary school, all me and my friends would go out to the playground and compare shoes and shoe sizes. We just thought it was normal. It's just what we did. I would always go around and say I had bigger shoes than you, and you, and you, and you. Well, this is because I was comparing my size shoes to first graders when I was in 5th grade, and I thought I had the biggest feet in the world. But that's just not how it went. I really didn't realize how small my feet were until I was about in 8th grade when I started crew, which is the rowing team. I would always get to practice, put on my sneakers, go down to the coast so I could put on my shoes for my boats. I would always expect the shoes to be really big because I thought they'd all be like, 10 or 11 in men's. This was not the case. All the shoes were super small that they would put in the boat for me, and yet they still wouldn't fit that great. I would end up having to do races in these shoes, and it really wouldn't work out because my feet were so small that my feet would slip out of the shoes, and it would just make racing really uncomfortable, and I couldn't do the best of my potential. Another example of having small feet and when it really affected me was when I was in 9th grade history, when we learned about cultures and world cultures, and more specifically Chinese culture. We were talking about Chinese foot binding one day, and my teacher asked us all what size our feet we are so we could kind of figure out when you would start binding and all that stuff. Well, my teacher looked at me and said that I probably wouldn't need to get it done that young because I already have small enough feet. I kind of took it as a compliment, but thinking back, it wasn't that big of a deal. Having small feet is just a daily thing for me. I get made fun of every day, and it's really just like it's normal at this point. But that's not the only big challenge that I have to do since I've had small feet. One of the hugest challenges are shopping for shoes. Shopping for shoes seems like it's all great and fun. Like, oh, we're shopping. Like, why is that such a big deal? Well, it's a challenge because I have to go straight to the kids section for any size shoe. I like to joke that I have to dodge glitter bombs, such as dodging twinkle toes and dodging sparkly shoes, or jumping over lasers, which is all the light up shoes that are like going off when you walk by them. I always have to weed through those just to get a right size shoe that looks like it's for my age, which when you think about it, I always get stuck with bland gray sneakers or just very monotone things. The biggest instant of having like the hardest time shopping for shoes was to shop for my prom shoes for senior year prom. This was really hard for me because you don't really see little kids marching around in heels for a reason. They don't really make shoes that are the size for kids in heels. So I had to go to maybe 100 stores. I searched for probably 2 months, and yet I still had to shove tissues at the top of my shoes when I found the one pair of heels that were black in a size that was even remotely close to mine. Tissues are another major problem when it comes to having small feet. This is because when you step into your shoes and they're too big, you have to stuff them on the top, and it's only a short time fix. I like to refer to tissues as little monsters at the top of my shoes. They always like to bite me, and they always hurt no matter what. So most of the time you end up having to slip your shoes off, just so you can have your feet breathe and all that stuff. They're also really bad because when you take your shoes off, you tend to make a really big mess, and it's really embarrassing to have little crumbles of tissues all over the place exposing that your shoes don't fit, and it's just not a good time to get, and it's a really big way that I get made fun of because people see the crumbles left behind by my shoes. Another major issue of having small feet is blisters. I know everybody gets blisters, but when you have small feet, it's a little different. On the rare occasions that shoes do fit, they tend to be a little either too loose, like a little bit too loose, or a little bit too tight, causing blisters to form, which is totally normal. But the problem is when you have kids' shoes, kids tend to step on the back of their shoes, so they tend to make kids' shoes a little more durable towards the back. This makes it so that they won't break them when they step on them so much. Well, when you're an adult having kids' shoes, these back of the shoes never seem to wear down like they would in kids, so they cause way more blisters than they usually would if I was a kid. I usually get a question a lot, isn't it amazing that you have small feet? Like, don't you get to get shoes for way cheaper? Don't you get to do, like, save $40? Well, my question always is back is it really worth it? I always have to go around to shoes places and search for a good pair of shoes and put so much time and effort into looking for shoes that would fit me when I could have just paid $40 extra to get shoes that fit right. I don't really think it's worth it to have to go around and waste the gas money. So my response always is no. Like, yes, they're cheaper, it's one good thing, but I'd rather have to have adult shoes. I just want to wrap up by saying that having small feet has always been a challenge, but it's always helped me face other challenges that I've had in my life. And it's always built me to be a better person because I know how challenges help. Like, I know it seems silly, but I know how challenges can affect your day-to-day life. So my question to you is, are you going to make fun of people for having small feet? Because these small feet have made me overcome the biggest feats in my life. Thank you.